I have lived my entire life, well, up till last year before I came over to Australia, in this small island called Singapore. Let me introduce myself. I'm Eleanor. I lived near my primary school and have studied there when I was young. My childhood ambition was to be a teacher, and after graduating from National Institute of Education in Singapore, I returned to my alma mater as a teacher. About my hobbies, I do love to bake and cook. And for me, I love food. And I do know how to cook a variety of dishes. Oh, that's me with food. Me with food. Food. Me with food. Me drinking. Me with food. Me eating. Me with food. Me eating. Me eating. Me eating. Me eating. Hey, wait a minute. Stop! What's with all these photos of me stuffing my face?
Again.
哦，
没有啦，快点来看你的照片啦！
Well, Mom is getting excited over some photo. No way! That was me when I was in year 5, and my teacher put me in a chef's costume and had me perform for a school event. Well, I guess I'm not a closet glutton, and even my teacher saw it back then. It amazes me how I love food and cooking so much. It must be in my blood. I need to uncover this food instinct that keeps haunting me. Singapore is a multicultural society. Singaporeans love food and have access to good food everywhere we go. My parents were born in Singapore, but their parents were migrants to Singapore. Along with them, they bring their food culture, and from my memory, my grandparents make awesome traditional food from their own dialect and culture. This is my paternal great-grandfather. He came from China, the Teochew province. He had to flee to Singapore as he was suspected of being a communist sympathizer by the nationalists at that time. In order to save himself and his family's lives, he fled to Singapore with my grandfather, and they started their fish and seafood wholesaler business, distributing fresh fish and seafood from Indonesia to the hawkers in Singapore. Food is important in our family and
食饱未？
means have you eaten in Teochew, and it is the way for you to greet someone in my paternal side of the family. My great-grandfather and grandfather brought Teochew food culture to Singapore, and I remember that every meal we had when I was young would definitely contain fish and preserved vegetables, and at times you will have braised meat, which is one of the specialty of Teochew cuisine. This is a typical meal that my late grandmother would use to prepare for us. It is called Teochew Mui, which translates to Teochew congee. My maternal grandfather came from another part of China called the Fuzhou province. He worked in a coffee shop in Singapore, earning $1 for a day's work. Breakfast at the coffee shop would include coffee kaya toasts and half-boiled eggs, which my grandfather would make using his own recipe. Chicken rice, a well-known and popular dish in Singapore. My grandma makes it often for our dinner, and chicken rice is a traditional recipe in my maternal side of the family. I discovered from my grandma that we are related to the famous chicken rice store in Singapore called Bun Tong Ki, and our ancestors were once brothers. Every time I call back home from Australia, my grandma will remind me in Hokkien dialect what my late grandfather would always say of me.
食饱空空气的血血的胃口
Meaning eat, sleep, wake up, eat again, then sleep. My late grandfather once told me that I can fly,
不耶
and now here I am.
I'm a new soul. I came to this strange world hoping I could learn a bit about how to give and take. But since I came here, felt the joy and the fear, finding myself making every possible